Good day to you. This is Todd. I'm a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, as we're going through Leviticus 19, yesterday we talked about gleaning, which was a great teaching, not on my part, but on God's part. And I encouraged you to find ways that you can bless the poor people on the stuff that you have. And it's good things, not giving your trash away, but giving the excess that you reap, you can say. Today we're moving on, and this is today it's called "Keep My Decrees," and this is taken from Leviticus 19 verses 11 through 19a. When I put in 19a, that's the first part of verse 19. When the Bible was written, Moses didn't put verses in there. That was something the editors of the Bible did many years later, and they did that to help us so that, like when I'm teaching here, I don't have to go, hey, open the scroll, and about halfway through Leviticus, open it up and follow along there. You wouldn't be able to follow along. You wouldn't know where I am. But they put the verses in there to help us find stuff together, okay? But sometimes when they put those verses in, it's like right in the middle of a thought, and you're like, why'd you put the verse there? And this is one of those today. Verse 19. In the end of verse 19, where it ends, it says, keep my decrees. What you're going to see today is there's a bunch of things, a bunch of instructions that God is going to give. It's saying, do this, don't do this, okay? And a lot of them, if you look at the Ten Commandments, a lot of these overlap the Ten Commandments, or if you're obeying the Ten Commandments, you're obeying a lot of these, okay? Or if you're trying to twist the Ten Commandments like, oh, no, he didn't say that in the Ten Commandments. Well, this spells it out, so you're sure then, okay? So it's just different things in there like that. So let's read here today, and it's entitled, Keep My Decrees, and this is taken from Leviticus chapter 19, verses 11 through 19a. It says this, do not steal and do not lie. Do not deceive one another, okay? Do not defraud or rob. Do not swear falsely by my name and so profane the name of the Lord your God. I am the Lord, okay? Those are all the Ten Commandments, okay? So we've gone over those several times and spent a lot of time in Exodus 20 going over each one of those. So those we should know, okay? Verse 13, it says, do not defraud or rob your neighbor. Okay, stealing. Okay, don't do that. And no matter how you try and twist it, it's still stealing. Okay. Do not hold back wages of a hired worker overnight. Okay, the worker needs those wages. If you're paying on a daily basis, then pay him when it's due. Okay. Verse 14, do not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block in front of the blind, but fear your God. I am the Lord. All right. What he's talking about here is the people that are helpless. Don't be messing around with those people. Okay. God doesn't take too kindly to that. So don't curse the deaf or put a stumbling block in front of the blind. You see a blind guy walking down the road, and I think it's funny to put something in front of him so he trips over because he's blind. Not funny to the Lord, okay? He doesn't think too kindly of that. Verse 15, do not pervert justice, do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly, okay? It doesn't matter if the guy's poor or rich or whatever, you need to judge that person fairly, not based on whether they have money or don't have money, okay? You might go, oh, the poor guy, he deserves a break because he's poor, and so he let's let him off the hook this time. No, you need to judge the person fairly, okay? Not based on how much money they have or don't have. Verse 16, do not go about spreading slander among your people, okay? This is not one of the 10 Commandments, but it sure lines up with that, okay? Don't be doing that. Do not do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord. Okay, it should go without saying, but he just puts it in here so you're sure you don't do anything dumb like that. Do not hate a fellow Israelite in your heart Rebuke your neighbor frankly so you will not share in their guilt. Okay? If you see a neighbor doing something wrong, it says rebuke them frankly. Don't beat around the bush and go, hey, you know what? Maybe you should stop doing that if you feel like it and if the sun is upright. No. You just say, hey, you really should stop doing that. You really should stop chopping down the tree so it falls on my house. Stop doing that. Okay? It says, verse 18, do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Wow. If you do that, where it says, do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself. I'm the Lord. How great is that? Then you have a lot of the Ten Commandments covered. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to be, and we've talked about this many times as we talked about the Ten Commandments. If you love your neighbor as yourself, you're not going to do any of those last 10 commandments because you're not going to do those things to yourself. Okay? Pretty self-explanatory. But we end with the first part of verse 19. Keep my decrees. Okay? So it's a little section in here where we talked about gleaning yesterday, and then tomorrow we're going to be talking about putting two different things together, which was a no-no. But here he just takes a pause in here and just lays out some commands like, oh, in case you forgot or in case you're trying to twist the 10 Commandments so it doesn't apply to you, here's the commands, okay? And so those are just some basic things for just a reminder to us that hopefully we're doing those things and not twisting the 10 Commandments so that it can suit ourselves. But God wants us to obey him, all right? Hey, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Leviticus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then.